Hey guys, today I'll be doing a tag called My First Time. So I'm going to read the questions and let's get started. To get to know me a little bit better. Okay, let's go. Do you still talk to your first love? Kind of, here and there, like he'll text me here and there. So I guess just to say hi, what's up? Number 2, what was your first alcoholic drink? I remember being really, really young and my uncle giving me like beer and I thought it tasted disgusting. But actual alcoholic drink, I was about 18 or 19 and I was at my friend Kara's house and I had wine coolers. Number 3, what was your first job? I was an after-school teacher, and it was a lot of fun. Okay, next question. What was your first car? I don't drive, so I don't have a car. Who was the first person I text today? Was it my friend Donald? I think it was my friend Donald. Okay. First person I thought of today. I always think of Sparky, my dog. Does that count? Because I always worry like, oh, I gotta get up, I gotta go walk him, gotta go feed him. That's what I worry about when I first wake up. But the first person, it's usually my parents, besides Sparky. And if Andy's not home, but Andy was home today, so it depends. Who was your first grade teacher? My first grade teacher was Miss Hart, and she was, I really, really liked her. She was a really, really good teacher, and she was the sweetest teacher ever. And I remember when I was in, was I in high school? Yeah, I think I was in high school, and she would walk from work, the elementary school that she worked in, which when I was in first grade, and I'd be in this area, and I would see her, and she always talk. She used to always say, "Oh, Christina, you were such a good kid." What else? I was such a good kid, and she remembered that I used to always write my name. Oh, because my last name was long. So you had such beautiful handwriting in first grade, and you knew your name and knew how to spell it. So yeah, she was awesome. My first best friend, and do we still talk? My first best friend. I remember does that count? I had a friend in pre-K, but after I left the school, I never saw her again. But there was this other girl I met in kindergarten, and I'm actually friends with her on Facebook. And I don't see her often because I don't live in Brooklyn anymore, so. But yeah, I used to bump into her when I was like in my my teens and my 20s. So yeah. Where was your first sleepover? Okay, well, besides relatives, I couldn't even sleep over my relative's house. Like, I remember waking up my aunt every single hour. We're gonna go home. Where's my mom? Blah, 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 blah. So, but the one that I actually really remember is from junior high and sleeping over Brittany's house. First person I talked to today, Andy. Because he woke me up at like 10 this morning. Whose wedding you first went to? I went to, that I can remember, was my Uncle Angelo and Aunt Susan's wedding. I was about, I think I was 4, and I was the flower girl, and I did not throw the flowers. First thing I did today, I went to, well, besides doing, you know, the usual morning stuff, go to the bathroom, blah, 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 brush your teeth, do all that good jazz, I went to the post office. First concert I went to, Backstreet Boys. When was your first broken bone? Apparently, when I was about, I don't even remember this. My mom said that I jumped off the bed when I was young, and I kept complaining about my shoulder, one of my shoulders, one of them. And so she took me to the hospital. And they were doing x-rays, and come to find out, they were like, oh, did you know that she already broke her collarbone? So I think I broke my collarbone when I was a baby, when they were delivering me. I think they picked me up wrong, because my mom said I used to cry a lot. So, your first piercing, my ears. I have 5 of them, even though I don't wear, even though I have two earrings in the hair and one over here. The backing fell off the other earring, so I'm just want to try to get a backing so I can put it back in. Anyway, so I have 5 in my ears. First foreign country I've been to. I went to Wales when I was 5, I think. The first time I went to Wales. The second time I went on the trip, I went to Wales, and I went to Greece to go visit my family. To visit my grandma and grandpa in Greece, and then my grandmother's brothers and sisters in Wales. Okay, what is the first movie I remember going to? The one that I could think of going to was like Free Willy, My Cousin Vinny, so that was probably all around the same time. Maybe Drop Dead Fred. Was it Drop Dead Fred? I think so. Those I could really, really remember. When did I first get detention? I never really got detention. The only time I got detention is when the whole class got in trouble in junior high. The boys were so bad that they would get everybody in trouble, and we would all have to stay after school. Who was my first roommate? Well, my brother was my first roommate for a while. Then I moved out, and I lived with my ex for a little bit, so he was my first roommate. If I had one wish, what would it be? To spend more time with my grandmother, and also my grandparents on my dad's side. Only met them once, so. What is something you could learn if you had the chance to go back and learn it? I would actually ask my grandmother about our family, and because I started doing my family tree, and I want to ask her more questions on like everybody. Okay, my first crush. I'm not gonna say his name, but oh jeez, that was like, I think my first crush was like 4th or 5th grade. Yeah, anyway. My first boyfriend. Hold on. My first boyfriend, I was about, how old was I? I was 19. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. first embarrassing moments. The one that I can remember, I was in high school and I was in art class, and there wasn't a lot of kids in the art class. It was maybe I don't even know, like not even like, maybe there's 5 people, maybe a little bit more. So I start laughing I was with my best friend Desiree and also my friend Angela, and I'm talking to them, and all of a sudden I start laughing because they were making a joke, and then I farted. So I tried to make my laugh loud enough so my fart didn't sound like a laugh. Sounded like a laugh. I was so embarrassed because there was people behind me. I was like, oh, please, I hope they didn't hear me. I hope they didn't hear me. They didn't say anything, so yeah. And I was super embarrassed. And Desiree and Angela didn't say anything, so I guess that was okay. My first fear. Would have to be the lights. Like, I was afraid of the dark for a while. Actually, a long time. I was afraid of the dark. I could not sleep in the dark, and I could not have the TV off. So I had to have the TV running all night and the light on up until I was about 16. That's kind of scary. But yeah. And then my grandmother was like, you're bloody sleeping in the dark. With her Irish accent. My first pet that I could remember is, we had a cat named Mitzi. She was a meanie. And then we had a dog. What was his name? Cassidy. We had a dog named Cassidy. And I remember my brother coming up and my mom crying and because he got hit by a car. So I didn't understand at the time. My first tattoo. I don't have any tattoos. The first person you subscribe to on YouTube, it would either be Michelle Phan or Emily Noel. They were like the first 2 that I started watching and getting into makeup and all that stuff. My first phone. The first cell phone that I can actually remember, it wasn't a flip phone. It was really weird. The buttons were on, okay, let's just say this was the phone, right? So the buttons were on here, but then it was small. It was like maybe like this big, and you pulled down to talk. It was really, really weird. Really weird. I don't know what kind of phone it was. Even when I had to answer, like if somebody was calling, I had to pull down the thing in order to answer it. That's how it would pick up. And then after that, I had a flip phone, which was a Nextel. But I was so mad because my Nextel would always break. Like, it would always, like the flip part, it would always break. And then after the Nextel, I got, I didn't get a smartphone until like 2009. So, I was a little late there, don't you think? I had flip phones up until 2009, and then I had the iPhone. And now I have the Note 4, but I'm going back to the iPhone next year. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye, guys.